Some pretty epic teams are going to be coming to the MCU pretty soon. Lately, we have been talking about Marvel Studios' new plan for the MCU. With Jonathan Majors being found guilty and being fired from Marvel Studios, Kang the Conqueror is going to be taking a back seat for a pretty long time. In fact, we probably won't see him again until Avengers Secret Wars. But in the meantime, Marvel Studios does have a plan to bring in some new teams. And they're also going to be diving into a newer side of the MCU that fans have been really liking so far. Yes, the X-Men are coming. And yes, an X-Men movie could be coming and an official X-Men team could be formed a lot sooner than we think. That's super exciting to think about, and if you want to learn more about that, you can check out the video we did yesterday, but in this video, we are going to be talking about the darker side of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and we are going to be talking about the team, the Midnight Sons. Thanks to some new reports, it looks like we might have our official lineup for the new Midnight Sons team that is going to be coming in the Multiverse Saga, so before Phase 6 ends, which is great news because I would love to see characters like Blade and Moon Knight and other dark characters be a part of Avengers Secret Wars as well. Plus, not to mention, for a very long time, we didn't exactly know when the Scarlet Witch would return. However, it looks like she could be returning for the Midnight Sons team. So let's break down the reported lineup for the Midnight Sons team coming in the Multiverse Saga. But first, if you're new, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest MCU news. We're also giving away a PS5 and Xbox Series X and more. We'll talk about that at the end of the video, but only a handful of days left in this month's giveaway. Now, in the past handful of videos, we have talked about Alex Perez over at the Cosmic Circus. He did a huge article basically talking about the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, talking about the different components of it. As always, we will link that down below. Please be sure to check out that article and support them. But of course, in today's video, we are specifically going to be talking about the rise of the Midnight Sons. In the article, when talking about the future of the MCU, Alex Perez specifically mentioned the rise of the Midnight Sons, stating one corner of the MCU that Marvel is keen on exploring for these next few phases is the supernatural corner of their universe. Projects like Moon Knight, Werewolf by Night, and WandaVision have already introduced some critical components for this corner of the MCU. And that's insanely true, like incredibly true. WandaVision is typically viewed as the best Disney Plus project so far by a lot of different fans. I loved it, a lot of fans truly loved it, and it was weird and different and dark, and it was great. Same thing with Moon Knight. Moon Knight was very refreshing because it was very different and it did have those supernatural darker tones. And Werewolf by Night took a lot of people, including myself, by surprise with how good it actually was. All of these projects were received very, very well, so it makes sense that Marvel Studios would want to dive deeper into this category, especially since they have already announced Blade. And based off of what we've heard so far about Blade, yes, it got off to a really rough start, and yes, the script has been rewritten like 4 times, but based off what we've heard now, Mahershala Ali does like the script now, and things seem to be going a lot better. Now, in the article, Alex Perez goes on to list a handful of projects that are going to continue to explore the supernatural darker side of the MCU, and these projects include Blade, of course, Ironheart, Marvel Zombies, Moon Knight Season 2, the continuation of Werewolf by Night, and other unannounced projects as well. Now, Blade is a given, obviously, but Ironheart, we know that the Hood is going to be a part of it, and based off of some reports, Sacha Baron Cohen is playing Mephisto. And this show is going to involve some very dark magic, which is why it is a supernatural project, and a darker project as well if they're going to introduce a character who's basically the devil, a demon. Then Marvel Zombies obviously is going to have that darker tone to it, and Moon Knight Season 2, this has been talked about for a bit now. Daniel RPK reported this about a month or 2 ago, that Marvel Studios is currently talking about, right now, Moon Knight Season 2 and Miss Marvel Season 2. And Werewolf by Night, well, it looks like some of those characters from that project are going to be a part of the Midnight Sons team. Alex Perez stated in the article, this arc aims to unite the heroes of this supernatural corner against a significant threat to humanity, giving rise to the Midnight Sons. Some sources have mentioned that Lilith or Mephisto villains have been considered the big bag of this arc. One source has mentioned that the potential lineup for the Midnight Sons features the current Sorcerer Supreme, Wong, as the leader of the team, alongside Mahershala Ali's Blade. But since this article has come out, Alex Perez has hinted even more at who the characters on this team are going to be. And let's start off with the member that everybody has been wondering about, and that is the Scarlet Witch. Make no mistake, the Scarlet Witch is not dead. Wanda is still alive in the MCU, and she will be returning. Agatha, the Darkhold Diaries, may not show us Wanda, although they will severely hint at her in the show and be very connected to her. However, the ending is supposed to be the Witch's Road special presentation, which is supposed to be heavily connected to the Scarlet Witch as well. And Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel Studios, basically confirmed a long time ago that Wanda is not dead. He said that when the mountain fell on her, you notice a little red light. That's all I'll say about that. That's what he said. Basically stating she's not dead, and of course she's not. She is the most powerful character in the MCU right now that has been introduced to us. Some rocks falling on her wouldn't kill her. And if the rumors are true about Mephisto, and he is going to be a pretty big villain, a part of the multiverse saga, imposing a huge threat on the universe and possibly the multiverse, then Wanda is going to need to be in this fight. Plus, not to mention, they could change it up a bit from the comics and say that Mephisto could be responsible for the Darkhold, which of course is directly connected to Wanda, so she'll definitely want to be involved. Now, like Alex Perez said, Wong is going to be in the group, and he is probably going to be the leader. He is the Sorcerer Supreme. This makes sense. In fact, he's probably going to be the Nick Fury of the Midnight Sons team. He is probably the one who gathers everybody together. Then, of course, we have Blade. This is a no-brainer. They are basically putting him in there so he could be a part of the Midnight Sons. Of course, he'll have his own movie, but he's always been a pretty prominent character in the Midnight Sons team. Then, of course, like we mentioned before, Moon Knight. As we know, Khonshu is not gone. Poor old Stephen Grant just can't get a break. But that's good for us because he's going to return to be a part of the Midnight Sons team. Then the next 3 members are actually coming from Werewolf by Night, and that is Elsa Bloodstone, Jack Russell, and Man-Thing. And this makes a ton of sense since Werewolf by Night really set up a huge part of the supernatural side of the MCU. So it's looking like our roster right now for the Midnight Sons team is Man-Thing, Elsa Bloodstone, Werewolf by Night, Wong, Blade, Moon Knight, and the Scarlet Witch, which honestly sounds really, really awesome. And for those wondering about some other characters who have been a part of the Midnight Sons in the comics, like Doctor Strange, Deadpool, and even some characters who have been a part of the game, this is just the first team established in the MCU. It doesn't mean that other characters won't join. It doesn't mean some characters won't leave. So don't think of this as the final and only Midnight Sons team that we'll see in the MCU. I'm expecting there to be many iterations of this team throughout the MCU as we continue on, even past Avengers Secret Wars. Because of course, after Secret Wars, then we could get some X-Men on the team, like Wolverine. So all in all, I'm super excited for the supernatural side of the MCU, and this lineup right here actually gets me very excited as well. I'm excited to see the Scarlet Witch return, and I love thinking about her interacting with Moon Knight and Wong once again because of everything she did in Multiverse of Madness. However, if Wong is the one who is gathering all these people together, he must know that he needs Wanda, which if they are dealing with a Lilith or Mephisto, he definitely does need her, which is probably why she's on the team. So drop your thoughts about this lineup in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you can stay up to date on the MCU. And if you subscribe and leave a comment, you're automatically entered in our giveaway for a chance to win an Xbox Series X, a PS5, some Marvel Legends items, and some DC items as well. The winner picks one item, and we pick one winner at the end of each month. And happy holidays to everybody. I hope everybody has a great and safe time this holiday season and a great end of 2023. Woof woof.